Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're listening to this. The topic of today's discussion is direct marketing versus brand marketing, what marketing aspirants need to know. What is direct marketing? Direct marketing is action oriented and it can be measured. That is how marketing expert, author, and educator Seth Godin defines direct marketing in his book, This is Marketing. And direct marketing as a practice has been there right from the 15th century in the form of direct mail, brochures, catalogs, etc. Even though the term was coined only in 1967 by Lester Wonderman, who is known as the father of direct marketing. What are the examples for direct marketing? Your Facebook ads, the direct emails you send, direct calls you make to prospects, etc., are all examples of direct marketing. When it comes to brand marketing, it is culturally oriented and it can't be measured. And when Seth Godin says that it cannot be measured, it doesn't mean that we cannot assess its effectiveness. I'll come to the measurement of the effectiveness of brand marketing as well as direct marketing in a while in the next slide. What are the examples of brand marketing? The billboards that you see on the highway, any TV ad, any sponsored event or sponsored podcast are all examples of brand marketing. Now let's look at the one-on-one comparison of brand marketing and direct marketing along 5 different dimensions: objective, urgency and time, measurement and ROI, content type, and finally impact. When it comes to direct marketing, the objective is to generate demand and new business or leads using different lead generation techniques. Whereas in brand marketing, you want to connect and engage with your audience and prospects. And when it comes to urgency and time in direct marketing, you tend to focus on short term returns. Whereas in brand marketing, you have a more long term view. How do you measure the effectiveness of both? In direct marketing, since the objective is to generate new business and new leads, you look at purchases, conversions, number of deals you win, etc. Whereas in brand marketing, you look at how people react or engage with your content online, be it in social media in the form of likes, reactions, or comments to your blogs, etc. In content type, when it comes to direct marketing, since the objective is to generate leads, mostly the content tends to be around products, offerings, the benefits they offer, what value does it add to the customer or prospect, etc. Whereas in brand marketing, the idea is to connect with your audience, educate them, and the content is usually around educational content is usually educational in nature or thought leadership based, because you want to establish yourself as a credible organization in your space. And coming to impact, in direct marketing, most of the times you have short term impact, short term revenue and pipeline impact, whereas in brand marketing you have a long term revenue impact. You do brand marketing today to make sure that in the future you are able to generate a consistent revenue, and it also improves your brand equity. Now, why should you understand direct marketing and brand marketing as marketing aspirants? Three reasons. First thing, when you start working as a marketer, you should be able to find a balance between the two. In almost 70 to 80% of the marketing roles, you would actually have to understand the difference between the two and plan your strategy and tactics so that you find a balance between the two. The second reason is you should be always able to come up with new techniques in each of these two areas, because a lot of the traditional marketing techniques have becoming or are becoming obsolete, and you need to understand the objectives of new techniques that you come up with and should be able to categorize it into direct marketing and brand marketing so that you align your activities accordingly. Last but not the least, you get to learn, and learning helps you grow, and sharing your knowledge, sharing your learning with others helps you grow even better. That said, let me get into the two case studies. Like I said, I have one in direct marketing and another one in brand marketing. And the direct marketing case study is a B2B example, and brand marketing case study is a B2C example. I thought I would just mix it up so that we cover the entire spectrum. What is the direct marketing case study about? It is about targeting people using a platform called Influ2. Even before I talk about the solution as such, let me take you through the problems, the challenges we are facing. I'm not going to name the organization where I did this, but I've mentioned all the details that require you to understand what this is all about. So talking about the problem, all the account-based marketing platforms, ABM platforms, did not help us target people, and we are looking ways to target people specifically. And after we generate a lead, a new potential, a person, it could be from any marketing channel. There was no way for us to or the company to engage with that prospect in a less intrusive manner. Either you have to pick up a phone, call him or her up directly, connect with that person over LinkedIn, or send an email, which sometimes is seen as a very intrusive manner of talking to people. So Influ2 helped us solve that problem. So if you look at the platform and solution, what it helps to do is you can pick people and target people specifically and serve ads to them, serve ad impressions to them across social media platforms and ad networks. And like I said, you all the traditional or all the most popular ABM platforms will help you target only companies by defining certain criteria such as industry, geography, etc. At the max, you could define job titles. But here in Influ2, you can pick specific people, John, Nasif, Mary, and target ads to those specific people. And the platform also came with a lead scoring module, which would attach a score against each lead or each person that helped us prioritize. Coming to the benefits of the solution, like I said, it helped us target specific people. It also helped us prioritize leads based on the lead score every person or every lead had. And the biggest advantage of all was that we are able to improve response rate by up to 30%. What does this mean? Typically, after you generate a lead, if you pick up your phone and call them up or send them an email, you need not get a response always. And after we ran these campaigns, where we are able to pick specific people and serve ads to them, the engagement level or the number of responses we receive to our direct calls or direct emails or LinkedIn requests across all these channels increased by about 30%. So what is your takeaway from this? In the last slide, I spoke about coming up with new lead gen techniques, right? So this platform, this is an innovative marketing platform. And since a lot of traditional techniques have not been as effective as they were in the past, you always have to look for new marketing techniques. And you also have to understand that there's quite a distance between you generating a lead and converting that into a actual purchase or a deal. So that is a B2B example. Let me take you to a more interesting one, the B2C example, which is an example for brand marketing and master storytelling. Some of you might have heard about the company Warby Parker. The company was founded in 2008 in New York, and their unique selling proposition was that they sold designer eyewear at affordable prices, but at the same time making sure that they stood by a social cause. And they partnered with NGOs like Vision Spring to start initiatives like Buy a Pair, Give a Pair. I'll come to that in a while. But what helped Warby Parker stand out? There are a lot of factors that helped Warby Parker become successful, but I'm going to be focusing only the brand storytelling part of it here. Now, what are the elements? What are the tenets that helped Warby Parker become successful in their brand marketing journey? They had a very strong founding story. So if you go to the Warby Parker website or any of the blogs that talk about the Warby Parker story, I've actually given a few links towards the end of my presentation so that you can go do your own further reading, or you could just simply Google and learn more about Warby Parker. So they had a very strong founding story. The founder of Warby Parker, or one of the founders of Warby Parker, Neil Blumenthal, he went on a hiking trip with some of his friends, and one of his friends lost his pair of glasses, and that person did not buy a new pair of glasses for the entire semester because he could not afford one. The reason was that almost 80% of the US eyewear market was dominated by a company called Exotica, and they were selling glasses at exorbitant prices in the range of $400 to $500. What Warby Parker did was they came up with a model that helped them sell designer eyewear at a price as low as $95, which was almost one-fifth of what their competitors used to sell back then. And they combined this model with a strong founding story, and they communicated that through their brand mantra. They had a very simple brand mantra: good eyewear, good outcome, be it in terms of the utility or in terms of the fashionable nature of their products. They were a very simple company, and their brand mantra also reflected the same. I spoke to you briefly about the buy a pair, give a pair initiative. What Warby Parker did was, for every pair of glasses they sold, they made sure that they gave a pair to those who are in need. And according to Warby Parker, there are 2.5 billion people around the world who need glasses but don't have access to them. And out of this, about 624 million people have difficulty in learning or reading because they have severe vision impairment. And they wanted to change this, and that's how they started the initiative. And it's not just these three things: a simple brand mantra, founding story, or this initiative. There are a couple of other things that made their brand storytelling very strong, which was focus on customer experience and communicating value. So what they did was, if a defective product was returned in any of their stores, they made sure that they did a root cause analysis to understand what is the reason behind it, and they ensured that it did not repeat. And this helped us improve their brand value, their brand equity. And in terms of communicating that brand value, one of the things that they did was, with every pair of glasses they sold, they gave a note to the customer that said something like this: thank you for buying this pair of glasses. You not only bought one pair of glasses, but you also donated a pair to those who are in needy. They connected this with the buy a pair, give a pair initiative. And this gave a good perception about the brand, and this gave the customer a feeling that they are not just buying a pair of glasses for their own, they're also contributing to a social cause. So all these put together, Warby Parker was able to communicate a strong story about them, which helped them establish their brand across different channels. They leverage social media, website, and over a time, lot of people, bloggers, started writing about them. That gave them a good visibility. So this is a classic example of using brand storytelling, using or leveraging brand marketing to establish yourself as a brand, at the same time generating a profitable, or building a profitable business rather. So those are the two case studies. I want to end my presentation with this. I just want to give you a few examples on both direct marketing and brand marketing. And many a times there is just a thin line between the two. And there are a lot of activities or marketing channels or techniques that fall under both. So I've represented this in a Venn diagram. In direct marketing, you will have all those techniques that will help you reach out directly to your prospects. It could be email marketing, videos, SEO, third-party lead gen techniques, content syndication, automation tools. I'm not going to talk about each of this in detail. If you want to know more about this, you can do further reading on your own, or you could reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll always be happy to help. When it comes to brand marketing, we spoke about content type here, right? In brand marketing, typically you have educational or thought leadership based content, and that's what you see here. Your activities are there to engage with your audience, educate them, establish yourself as a thought leader in your industry. So educational videos, podcasts, white papers, point of view documents are all examples of such pieces of content. And even events and trade shows and alliances and industry groups are examples of brand building activities. And like I said, there are a few marketing channels that fall under both, like chat, webinars, social media, forums, partners, etc. And this is not an exhaustive list. There are a lot of other marketing activities and channels you could add to this, but I hope this gives you a fair bit of an idea and lays a foundation for you to start learning about marketing techniques and direct marketing and brand marketing further. So that's all I wanted to cover today. These are a few additional links for your further reading. If you have any questions regarding this topic or in general about marketing or B2B marketing especially, please feel free to reach out to me or LinkedIn. I will always be happy to help. Thank you.